This all ends with Islam Makhachev being forced into the most dangerous decision of his career. But the reason it gets there is way darker and way messier than anyone is ready to admit. So stay with me because the how is where everything explodes.
Pues someterlo ahí en la esquina delante de Khabib, que son tan chulos y arrogantes que la verdad que me encantaría ahí someterlo delante de él. Y si después quiere pasar Khabib, también le piso la cabeza con mucho gusto. Siendo lo que han dicho, se han sentado en una mesa y sabe lo que han dicho, que le den por Arman. Así que Arman, desde aquí que te den por el culo desde miles de kilómetros y juzgarme y criticarme, pero después cuando me tienes en ese octógono te empiezas a dar cuenta de que yo no soy Jack de la Madalena, que yo no soy Dan Hooker, que yo no soy todos esos paquetes a los que te has enfrentado anteriormente.
Ilia Topuria might not be
St-Pierre is not whispering ambition anymore. He is shouting it straight into the face of the lightweight division, openly saying he will dominate Islam on the feet and then finish him with a submission, even if Khabib himself is sitting cage-side watching the entire empire crack in real time. And that confidence is not accidental. It is calculated, deliberate, and meant to shake the room.
Tengo la sensación de que olvidan un poco cuál es tu base. Perdóname, pero yo siempre digo que eres un grappler y te pido por favor que no me digas completo y me gustaría preguntarte cuál es tu punto fuerte realmente.
A ver, yo considero que mi punto fuerte es el suelo. Yo considero que en el suelo me puedo desenvolver en cualquier manera, que puedo sacarte una finalización de cualquier posición. Pero sí que es verdad que últimamente he aceptado que no es lo que el público quiere ver tanto, aunque con Islam tal vez sea algo que el público quiera ver, ¿no? Dominarlo de pie, darle sus 3-4 manos en el punto que le tenga que dar y después someterlo ahí en la esquina delante de Khabib, que son tan chulos y arrogantes que la verdad que me encantaría ahí someterlo delante de él. Y si después quiere pasar Khabib, también le piso la cabeza con mucho gusto.
Topuria frames himself as a completely different animal than anyone Islam has faced, dismissing the idea that past opponents like JDM or Dan Hooker even belong in the same sentence. And he keeps circling one dangerous accusation: that Islam talks comfortably from far away, but has not stepped forward when the fight the fans want is sitting right in front of him. And that detail is going to matter sooner than people think.
Cuando defienda mi título en 155 libras, veremos a ver. Ya no quiero seguir haciendo predicciones acerca de nadie porque todo el mundo habla muchísimo con el teclado, todo el mundo quiere brillar, todo el mundo tiene mucha valentía, mucho coraje, pero cuando llega la hora de la verdad no es así. Y todo el mundo sabe que es un combate que quiere verlo todo el mundo y él por alguna razón hasta ahora no lo ha aceptado y después habla demasiado. Es muy fácil hablar desde miles de kilómetros y juzgarme y criticarme, pero después cuando me tienes en ese octógono te empiezas a dar cuenta de que yo no soy Jack de la Madalena, que yo no soy Dan Hooker, que yo no soy todos esos paquetes a los que te has enfrentado anteriormente. Yo soy algo muy diferente y cuando te ponga mi mano derecha encima vas a ver que vas a tener un sueño muy muy largo.
Georges St-Pierre then pours gasoline on the fire by saying Islam is the best pound-for-pound fighter on paper. But paper does not survive mistakes, and fighting is not about rankings or reputation. It is about who shows up cleanest on that exact night, because even legends zig when they should have zagged, and that single second can erase years of dominance.
What would be your game plan to go against Islam Makhachev? Like, what would you do right now to beat him? Because everyone, is he just too good right now? Or what would you do?
I think right now he's probably on paper the best fighter.
Yeah.
Probably pound for pound beat Islam Makhachev. It doesn't mean, it's not because you're the best that you're not gonna lose. It's not the best fighter that wins the fight. It's not the best team that wins the game. It's the team that play the best the night of the game. Same thing in fighting. People for some reason believe that fighting is different. Always the strongest man that wins. Not true. If you zig when you should have zagged, you make a mistake, boom,
Cut.
you're cut. By the way, it happened to Islam Makhachev. If you saw his
Early
loss,
in-
he
yeah.
got cut. Yeah, it could happen again. I believe if he would fight that guy 10 times out of 10 times, he would probably beat him 9 times. But that one time he got clipped, and that can happen.
Georges St-Pierre explains that
GSP makes it painfully clear that Islam winning most of the time does not protect him from losing once, and that one loss is all it takes to flip the division upside down. And keep this locked in your head, because a very specific moment from Islam's past proves this is not theory. It already happened once, and it can happen again.
To beat Islam Makhachev, he's very skilled. I think you would need a guy that can match his wrestling in a way that either to counter his takedown, or if he get put down, manage to scramble back up and create distance and also fight him standing up. I think you need a guy that put pressure on him with a lot of fakes and feints. There's a guy that gave him a lot of trouble. He was from France. He was one of my training partner. If you go and check that fight online, his name was Mansour Barnoui. He was one of my best training partner when I was getting ready for fights, and he gave him a lot of trouble. And it was in Makhachev early career, but if you look at this fight, it could have gone the other way as well. It went to decision, and the way Mansour Barnoui fought Makhachev, that's the way you need to fight. A lot of pressure, create a lot of scramble, and pressure.
Just gotta catch him off guard.
Yes, flying knees, stuff like that, like doing stuff like that are crazy.
That blueprint gets even clearer when GSP brings up Mansour Barnoui, a name casual fans barely remember, but a fight that exposed cracks by forcing Islam to scramble, defend, reset, and work instead of cruise, showing that the real way to beat him is not panic, it is pressure, constant motion, fake after fake, threat after threat, until discipline starts to fray.
Quería preguntarte directamente, toda la gente dice que tienes miedo de Arman y te tengo que preguntar por eso.
Bueno, al final ya sabes lo que pienso sobre la opinión de los demás. Arman, bueno, es un buen luchador, ha tenido sus oportunidades en las que se ha negado a competir, ha tenido su oportunidad de pelear por el campeonato del mundo, se ha retirado del combate. Todos los luchadores hemos enfrentado dolores de espalda, dolores de brazo, de pierna, de todo, y aún así nos hemos presentado en el combate. Él por alguna razón no. Y él sabe cuál ha sido esa conversación interna. Tal vez se ha tenido que cambiar los calzones después de tomar esa decisión.
At the same time, Topuria laughs off claims that he is afraid of Arman Tsarukyan, and that laugh hits harder than denial because he does not question Arman's talent, he questions his reliability, saying real contenders fight through pain while others back out. And that subtle jab lands right where the UFC cares most, trust.
Si yo ahora te hablo como promotor, darle la oportunidad a una persona que le das una promoción tan grande, inviertes tanto dinero para promocionarlo de esa forma, ponerlo en una cartelera tan grande para que te lo juegue de esa manera, es muy complicado volver a depositarle confianza. Después ha tenido como otro combate ahora estelar en la que le ha metido un cabezazo en un careo. Es como que no demuestra mucha inteligencia, tampoco demuestra como que el cariño que le está dando la UFC en sus promociones, porque lo que no entiende es que la gente está invirtiendo dinero para promocionarlo y él con un simple cabezazo está poniendo en riesgo todo ello, porque el contrincante puede recibir un corte, un daño innecesario y el combate pudiera llegar a caerse, ¿verdad? Entonces,
from a promoter's point of view, Topuria paints Arman as a financial risk, someone given massive promotion and massive opportunity who keeps putting entire events in danger, and in a business where one headbutt or one pullout can cost millions. That reputation sticks longer than any highlight reel.
Cuando tú ves que tienes una persona enfrente a la que le estás dando cariño, en la que estás invirtiendo el dinero que realmente te está devolviendo las cosas de esa manera, al final tú le seguirías dando cariño.
No.
Bueno, pues eso es lo que están haciendo. Lo que han dicho, se han sentado en una mesa y ¿sabes lo que han dicho? Que le den por el culo a Arman. Así que Arman, desde aquí, que te den por el culo.
That is why Topuria's message turns ice cold when he says respect is gone, patience is gone, and trust is broken. And when Paddy Pimblett piles on by saying Arman being skipped is not shocking at all, the narrative shifts from talent to behavior, from skill to consequence, and that is a brutal transition to come back from.
I mean, I don't expect you to have any sympathy for Arman Tsarukyan, but you know, were you surprised that you could make this interim title without him in it?
No, he's bored. don't really know anyone who wants to see Arman Tsarukyan fight. I listed so many reasons why he hasn't got this title shot in an interview the other week. Pulled out on a day's notice when he said he had a bad back when he never. He just couldn't make weight to ruin the main event. Punched the fan walking out of the cage. Probably cost the UFC a lot more money. Nearly ruined another main event for the first fight in Qatar by headbutting Dan Hooker. Just don't be a little spoiled brat and you might end up getting in good graces.
Paddy's point is savage but simple, that timing and professionalism matter just as much as ability. And while everyone else moves forward, Arman is explaining himself again, and the division does not slow down for anyone, no matter how gifted they are.
It's his own fault, lad. It's his own family's fault for letting him be a spoiled little baby his whole life, lad, because he's got money. You know what I mean? He thinks that he can just like pay his way out of anything. Well, nah, lad, you got told you got to work your way back to the title. And beating Dan Hooker, who can't grapple to save his life, doesn't do that. You know what I mean? But it is funny because he's left out in the cold now because Charles is fighting Max and I'm fighting Justin. And like, the next person down the rankings is Dan Hooker, who he's just beat. You know what I mean? He's going to have to rematch Gamrot or something and try and beat Gamrot. Because for now, nobody gives a flying about Arman Tsarukyan. It's not my fault Arman Tsarukyan's an absolute sausage.
It's not,
It's not my fault he can't control his emotions and start headbutting people at weigh-ins and pulling out the night before fights and hitting fans when he's walking out. That's not on me, that's on him. And he knows why he's not fighting for the belt. He needs to stop about it.
Then, Jorge Masvidal flips the script by defending Arman hard, saying he is already one of the best in the world, and the only solution is violence. Keep taking heads until denial becomes impossible, and Masvidal casually drops a future bomb by calling Arman versus Ilia the real fight to make, a collision that could define 155 for years.
Like, Arman should have been way over Gagey, and I feel like Arman should be way over Paddy, you know, but he doesn't have that hiccup. So what does he do? Does he sit out? Or does he go out there and make his case? Get another one of these top 5 guys on when I say, take their head off because there's nobody there that can beat him and keep him moving, brother. Then they can't deny you know. I think he has to go out there, just beat somebody else, and not even Dana White is saying, no, I'm not giving this guy a title shot. After that, there's no way, you know. And the fight to see in 2026 is Arman versus Ilia. Those are the best guys at 155 pounds right now.
While fans argue that future Chael Sonnen walks in with the coldest take of all, saying Ilia Topuria should be stripped if he is unavailable for reasons outside injury or illness, because interim belts are not protection plans. And history proves fighters have hidden behind vague excuses before, whether fans like it or not.
The interim belt is for those that are dealing with an illness or an injury. If we would like to show grace to an undisputed champion because he's missing matches specifically for illness or injury, and the moment Ilia informs us that he is missing matches for anything outside of the criteria of illness or injury, that's why you strip him. That there is no precedence for an interim championship. And I had never thought of that, and I thought it was very cold. I didn't like it. I got in my car, I went back to my hotel, I'm staying by myself, and I thought about it. And I go, man, there's actually a point to that. If Ilia is missing matches, and all he's got to do is make the claim. He doesn't have to be telling the truth. A lot of guys didn't tell the truth. A lot of guys have missed fights and said they're hurt because they didn't want to make the walk.
Kyle even admits he hates the logic, but logic does not care about emotion, and unless there is medical proof on paper, the belt cannot be frozen in place, which quietly puts massive pressure on what Ilia does next behind closed doors.
But if you're making a claim outside of illness or injury, to my understanding, the person at the UFC is correct. You're not eligible. You got to be stripped. I think that is a fair point. I don't want him stripped. I'm on Ilia's side of this. I don't really like what he's going through. I think he's shared more with us than he has to. I also think he's innocent. He seems like a good guy. I really don't think that he would have done these things. However, yeah, they got to strip him. If he's not making the claim that he's injured and has some kind of a doctor report to back it up, as bogus as those can be, he's got to be stripped.
Then the focus snaps back to Islam Makhachev, who says he is ready to fight anyone but openly prefers Kamaru Usman, and that preference sends shockwaves through 2 divisions, because it signals strategy, confidence, and risk all at once. Not fear, not avoidance, but a calculated gamble.
Kamaru does have the stylistic matchup to not get taken down, and then he's got a beautiful 1-2, and that's all it takes in the sport of mixed martial arts. Bop, bop. You know what I'm saying? And Islam has been hurt the time that he did lose. He did get knocked out. So it's those punches that you don't see coming that could change everything. And Kamaru Usman has the speed and has the power and has the experience. But he's going up against Islam Makhachev, who is, he's good, man. He can kick, he can wrestle, he could, that's the biggest thing, bro, is it's his defense. He's always here, and then he level changes, and he kicks, goes up. Very, very good. But you would probably favor Islam, but I would not count out the Nigerian Nightmare. If anybody can get it done, it is Kamaru Usman.
Henry Cejudo explains why that gamble is terrifying, pointing to Usman's defensive wrestling, his violent 1-2, and the uncomfortable truth that Islam has been hurt before and the punches you never see coming are the ones that shut the lights off for good.
Like, you think everyone thinks Charles Oliveira is good until Islam gets on top of him, right? Charles Oliveira sucks comparably to real good grapplers. He's not even near.
He's more of a strictly jiu-jitsu
Well,
guy.
you just know, like, the substance of a guy like what Islam is versus a guy like Charles.
Yeah,
you know.
Luke Rockhold sharpens the knife by saying Islam exposes fake grappling reputations, that many fighters look elite until real pressure arrives. And when Islam settles on top, the difference between surface level skill and true mastery becomes painfully obvious.
Who in the UFC or other promotions does this the best current time?
In the UFC, you look at Islam versus JDM. I was very impressed with Islam's feinting. There was one point, because I always say sometimes I overfeint, but that's good because they never know when it's coming. But Islam did that in his last fight with JDM. There was points he just was feinting like 12 times before he even threw a jab. This is later in the fight as well, so I was really impressed with that.
Israel Adesanya adds another layer by praising Islam's feinting as elite mental warfare, explaining how he freezes opponents with repeated threats, controls reactions, and opens doors without rushing, showing that Islam's striking IQ might be just as dangerous as his grappling.
If Arman ends up fighting with Islam, he needs to work on his judo. Arman needs to work on his judo.
Really? Why?
I guarantee you guys never realized that every time Islam took Arman down, it was judo.
That's not
Islam can't take down Arman in wrestling. I guarantee you guys. Islam is a great wrestler, great judoka. Trust me, he knows judo. When I watch his clips, he can do judo very well.
But that's not his Sambo background?
No. That's his judo background.
What is the biggest difference that you can see between Islam when he uses his Sambo versus judo?
The technique, the movement that he does.
Then Manny Gambarian drags up a detail most fans missed, pointing out that Islam struggled to rely on pure wrestling against Arman and leaned on judo trips instead, quietly suggesting the matchup is far closer than people admit, and that detail is going to resurface when nobody expects it.
What do I think is going to happen in the division? Let's talk about it. When I look at, especially the welterweight division, Islam being the champion, who do I think deserves it? Who do I think has earned it? I think Michael Morales for sure has earned it. Beating a guy like Sean Brady, being undefeated, finishing Sean Brady. I mean, what else more do you have to do? But we see the seeds planted. We see Islam planting the seeds of Usman should be the next guy. I mean, obviously they have the same manager. Obviously the manager planting seeds in his head of what he thinks should be. Do I think Usman is an easier matchup for him? Of course. The guy's fought one time in 3 years, and he's 1-3. I'm still ahead of you. Even though I lost my last 2 fights, I'm still 2-2. So you could talk, you could say whatever you want. You turned down the fight. You didn't want to fight. And I don't think it should earn you a title fight when you're saying no to fights. But that's my thing. You can call me a hater. I'm just looking at the division from a different lens. What I think and who I think has earned it. That's my thoughts on that one. We'll see what happens next with them two. Who will get it? If it is Morales, I do think me and Usman make the most sense. Like I said, I've been wanting that fight, asking for the fight. We'll see if we get the fight.
Bilal Muhammad pours fuel on the controversy by accusing Islam's camp of steering toward an easier matchup, saying fighters like Michael Morales earned shots that politics erased and shared management planted seeds behind the scenes, whether people want to admit it or not.
Islam Makhachev is gonna fight potentially Usman. I like that fight, you know? That's somebody who could wrestle back into Makhachev. That's somebody that I know personally could wrestle back into Makhachev. That's his forte. That's what Usman started with. It's his grappling background, and Usman's no pushover in the wrestling. I think he's better on the feet. I think he's bigger, he's longer, he's stronger, he has more experience fighting long fights on his feet as well and using his defensive wrestling. like he did with rat face Kobe's bitch ass, you know, or how he did with the other nut freaking Chasma, whatever his name is. You know, he's very good at fighting those guys. I actually thought he beat the 185-pound champion currently, Chasma, on like a 11-day notice. He just got out of the couch from eating whatever the he was eating, got on a flight, went over there, and beat him 2 out of 3 rounds.
Masvidal doubles down by calling Usman the toughest stylistic challenge Islam could face at welterweight, pointing to size, strength, experience, and defensive wrestling, and even questioning whether taking that fight is smart at all when the risk might outweigh the reward.
I think this is the most dangerous fight for Makhachev at 170, man, with no doubt about it. You know, that's a big step up in competition, I think, from Jack Magdalena, which is phenomenal on the feet. I still think to this day right now has some of the best hands on the roster, and his wrestling defense isn't bad either. He's a good scrambler and stuff, but he's not on Usman's level in any way with the defensive power. You know, Usman could wrestle defensively. I think this is one of the toughest fights for Makhachev right now. You know, I don't know if they're gonna want to take that one.
Finally, Joaquin Buckley drops the wildest angle yet, saying if Islam beats Usman, that might be the end because double champ status plus a win over a GOAT leaves nothing but danger ahead. And Islam is not a natural 170, meaning every next fight only gets more unforgiving, more violent, and more final.
You already know that it's going to be a hard time for Islam if Hamza had a difficult time, right, trying to take down Usman. So with that being said, this will be one of the biggest fights that you can make at the welterweight division right now. So what's the hold up? Let's go ahead and run that up. So whoever win that, they can get up out of here. Because this is also my opinion. If Usman wins, right, he's one and done. He said he's moving up to 185 to go get that title against Hamza for the rematch, right? Cool, bye-bye. If Islam wins, he said he's gonna hold it down for a long time, but I don't believe that. If Islam gets the fight that he wants, which is Usman, right? That means not only did you submit your name at lightweight over your brother Khabib, but then you also got, you know, the double champ status, and then you also be the GOAT at in Usman, right? So you just pulled the John Jones. What else is there to do? What else can you do, right? You be foolish to keep fighting, because to me, Islam is not a natural 170 fighter. He not. And that will get exposed, you know what I'm saying, if he fights a person like myself or Ian Gary or Morales.
Because if Islam wins, the legacy is complete. And if he loses, everything collapses. And that decision right there may decide not just his future, but who controls the next era of the UFC.